We live?
Well, look at that. We are back again for the third episode of ELF Live. I am Nick 𝗘𝗟𝗙 here with my co-host, the one and only Silas 𝗘𝗙. Silas, where are you today? Down in Mexico.
I'm in Mexico right now. I'm recruiting the Mexicans to the ELF.
There you go,
No,
man.
that's not true. I'm actually on vacation, but I'm joining the show from Mexico.
Like I say every week, this is a global show. You're tuning in everywhere, all over the world, each week, a different spot. Hello to everyone joining us today in the chat. We got a fun show for you guys. We got some great guests. We got some fun things to talk about. I'm coming to you live from Portland, Oregon. We hope that we won't have too many technical difficulties like we did last week, but just bear with us. We're working on it. And Silas, let's get into some of the stuff. ELF news is pretty hot right now, and we've got a lot of interesting signings. But there's somebody that we talked about multiple times on the show before, the new official Berlin Thunder quarterback, Jacob Sullivan. And we are lucky enough to actually have him live on the show today.
Jacob Sullivan, he's like the face of the league, kind of. He's got that like real pretty face, and I could tell when the league came out, he was like the perfect guy to have win the MVP for the first year.
Right.
Got a little color in his skin. He's a white guy who's got some color, right? That's always clutch when you're looking for someone who's got a good face for the league.
That's right. Yeah. So Jacob is going to be joining us in a couple of minutes, and just what you said, Silas. He's got a good quarterback face there, and he had a lot of success especially in 2021, first season for the ELF. They won the championship with the Frankfurt Galaxy. He's been there for a couple of years, but now he's gone. He signed with the Berlin Thunder, and I don't know. What do you think, Silas? What do you think? Do you think that he's going to be able to make Berlin an actually good team this year?
I think so. I mean, I don't know what Berlin's situation is. I never really played up north. Even when I was in Germany, I was mainly in the south. But Jacob is the kind of guy who can really thrive in Europe. He's got a great personality. He's good with his teammates. He's a great leader. And I think he has the right attitude to succeed in Europe. And so, plus he can move. That's a big thing. You got to be able to run if you're going to play quarterback in Europe. And
that's huge.
That's really big, yeah.
Especially, yeah. I mean, I was a defensive player in Europe, and like, if you're a little bit of a dual threat here in Europe, it's absolutely killer for defenses here. So he's got it. But you touched on it, and we're still waiting. We're hoping that he can join us here in a second. So as you touched on it, he's perfect for Europe. What is it precisely that you think makes an American quarterback good for Europe, besides being able to run? And maybe it's personality stuff.
Well, I think number one, off the field, if we're talking about overall what's the most important thing, I think the most important thing is being able to actually thrive in Europe. Part of the reason Javarian Clark is so good is that he is year-round in Europe. He knows the guys. He's learning German. He is invested in stuff off the field and on the field. So he's completely invested in the game in Europe. Whereas a lot of guys, they come in and they're kind of just there to play football, so they don't even build relationships with the teammates, with their receivers, and that's just a night and day difference. Now, specifically on the field, Jacob can throw the ball well, he can run the ball well, and that's I said it right there from the beginning.
Absolutely, man. And like I said, we're hoping he's going to probably join us in a little bit. But for now, let's move on and let's go to the current roster overview of the official signings. How many players each team has officially signed so far in this offseason. I think we're going to have a graphic come up for you guys here. And let's take a look at that. Boom. Beautiful graphic from our producer, Maxie. Oh, very nice. And we see out there, Munich is steamrolling everyone so far with the official signings. They've got 44. See a couple other teams here. Milano's got 24. Vienna Vikings got 20. Silas, any teams here jump out to you, or numbers, good or bad, that tell you anything?
Yeah, I mean, Munich signing 44. That's kind of shocking. I don't know what Sean's up to down there, but he knows what he's doing. So if it was anybody else signing 44 people already that quickly, I would be hesitant. But
Yeah.
because I know Sean is kind of in charge of that, that's kind of scary for the rest of the league there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also surprised that that Milano has signed so many as well. I guess, I mean, the thing about Italy is not a lot of those guys are probably going to be going to other countries. So that kind of makes sense.
True.
I'm surprised that Stuttgart only signing 3, but that kind of fits. That's what I meant by if it was anybody else, I would be kind of surprised. But Sean is up to something because Jordan in Stuttgart, he's always got something up his sleeve. So if he's only got signed 3, I'm not.
Only got 3, and we'll get into that in a second. Those 3 and some of these other, but yeah. So that's kind of the overview where we're at right now. We do have Jacob here back with us. We are going to do a little quick interview with the man himself, the new Berlin Thunder quarterback, Jakeb Sullivan. Come on in here. There he is. Jacob, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Where are you right now? I'm
in bright and sunny Rapid City, South Dakota at Grandpa Sullivan's house right now.
Beautiful. The tourist destination, South Dakota. For all of you Europeans, not Americans, it's one of the most popular destinations to go visit. Thanks, South. That's my joke clarifier right there. South Dakota.
Do not go there.
Jacob, I think the question on everyone's mind, first and foremost, I mean, you had a lot of success in Frankfurt. You were the first ever ELF champion, kind of been the face of that franchise. You've moved on. You signed with Berlin, the Berlin Thunder. Why? Why was it the right time for you to leave? Why was Berlin the right choice? Talk to us.
Yeah, a lot of different reasons. You know, I think for myself and for Frankfurt, it was a good 3 years. We accomplished a lot of things, and the last 2 years, obviously, we didn't win the championship, which was tough. And you know, at some point, you have to move on. You have to try new things. You have to go for a new adventure. And this was a year, I think, for myself and for Frankfurt that it was the right time, obviously. And when I started talking to Berlin, it was okay. Wait, let me track back for a second. I'm getting old, so at this point, I'm really looking for a good situation for myself and for the future. And you know, I want to win a championship again, of course. And Berlin has checked all of those boxes for me, and in terms of what I believe can develop this next season and in the future. And man, when I went to Berlin, I visited obviously the owner group, some of the teammates. Yeah, it just felt right, you know. And at some point, you know, football's the same, and you just want to be surrounded by good people, good organization, and I found that pretty quickly in Berlin. And man, I'm really excited. So,
hey, Jacob, can you talk to us about that conversation you had with Frankfurt when they decided we're going to go a separate way? How did you feel in that moment?
Yeah, I felt, how do I say it? I felt thankful for what I had done there and for what they had done for me, giving me the opportunity to come to the European League of Football. Yeah, and then I was ready to move forward and onto the next step. You know, it's tough because the toughest thing for me is Frankfurt has been such a great place for me because I've built a lot of great relationships, met a lot of great people, and that's always tough, man. You know, I'm a family guy. So for me, that's really tough. You know, 3 years in a place that was originally foreign for me, that quickly became home. And then I had to realize that I was going to have to leave a lot of my friendships, a lot of the relationships that I created there. That was tough, man. I'm not going to lie. So I called a lot of my friends right away and I said, damn, boys, we might be a little farther apart next year. But, you know, that's part of the deal. And that's the beautiful thing about Europe is it's a close-knit family, you know, no matter where you go. And, so right now, I know that I have people everywhere in Europe that support me, that I support as well. So I'm excited to watch a lot of my close friends play as well next year and go from there. But yeah, it was tough at first. But you know, man, at some point, tough decisions have to be made for you, and they might suck for a little bit. But then at the end of the day, you know it's the right decision for myself and for my family. And I'm just excited for the new opportunity and to prove myself right. You know.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. And obviously you ended up in Berlin. I imagine some other teams were interested in you, were after you, especially with what you've put up on the field these last couple of years. Were there any other teams in play, and why was it specifically Berlin that you chose to end up at?
Yeah, I mean, there were some other teams in play, of course. Another team that I was really talking to was like Stuttgart, for example. And I was really excited about Stuttgart, and it was like basically between Stuttgart and Berlin pretty quickly. I narrowed it down, and I just felt really comfortable in Berlin, and for me, comfortability is so important. Second guess anything. So when I went to Berlin, it just felt right. I hung out with a lot of the teammates there, or my potential teammates at the time. I just want to be surrounded by good people, man. And that's my main goal. And I know Stuttgart was in the championship game last year, and that was great. And I thought that was a good thing for them. And they're going to have a great season this next season, I know. But Berlin was also a playoff team, and we played them, of course. And I felt what they did on the field, and I know that I can make them better as well. I love Berlin's mindset, man. I think I'm going to fit in perfect there, and that's why I signed, and that's why I'm excited to take that next step with them.
Awesome, man. And quite notably, you wear number 7. Berlin has had a prominent number 7 wearer, Robin Wilczek, for the last few years. He ended up giving up the jersey number and giving it to you. Can you talk a little bit about that process? Was it hard for him to give it up? Was it easy? How did that go? How did you come to him straight away and say, I need this, man? Or how did it go down? Yeah.
So to be honest, I didn't tell him like, hey man, I need the number. I need this to come or anything like that. I just, I think actually Bjorn knew, and him and Robin maybe talked about it a little bit, because I know they're really close. And then when I went to visit Berlin, we went to a little hockey game, and funny enough, side story, they were playing Frankfurt, and they ended up beating Frankfurt, which was funny. And at that hockey game, Robin gave me a wrap present, and he just got up and he's like, "Hey man, again, wherever you go, football is football. What matters most is the guys you surround yourself with, and I think it'd be a really great situation for you to come here. We want you here, and to show you that, like, I got you a gift." And I unwrapped the gift. It's a Sullivan 7 jersey, a Berlin Sullivan 7 jersey. I was like, damn, that's a pretty important thing. That he would just openly give it to me, and I thought that was pretty cool. Maybe am I back? I think I had a little disconnection.
You're back.
Yeah, you're back. There we go.
I'm still in. Easy. So he gave me the jersey, and at that point, that made the decision really easy for me, because, like I said, I based my decision off people I want to be around, and he made me feel comfortable, and shit, here I am.
There you go, man. That's pretty awesome. And I mean, you've got a couple great receivers up there with Robin, who you just talked about, as well as Jackson. So you got some good weapons there. We're really excited to see what you do up there in Berlin, man. We appreciate you joining us on the show all the way from South Dakota. Jakeb Sullivan, one of the OGs of the ELF, moving on to a new team this season, man. Appreciate it. Enjoy your time at home. Yeah, Silas, go ahead.
My final question to you, Jacob, what would you say to the people out there who are worried about your health this year? I know you had an injury last year.
Yeah, understandable. The last 2 years were a little injury ridden, unfortunately. But no, I'm here in South Dakota working my ass off right now. Ooh, sorry, I don't know if I can cuss.
Right, you can curse. It's European. You can cuss.
True. I'm working my butt off here. I got my 2 little brothers pushing me, and I'm doing the right things right now to create that stability, and to finish off the season and win that championship. And I was just wrestling with the two younger boys yesterday, tried to show them who the older brother is still, and I feel good today. I'm not too sore. My neck feels fine. I feel okay. And
good.
Yeah, it's a good sign for me.
That's great.
Fantastic.
But yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on, man. Good luck this year. Enjoy your time at home. Have a good Christmas, and we'll see you in 2024 in Berlin.
Good luck, Jacob.
Zu Hause ist immer jemand für dich da. Die Bäckerin, die dir leckere Brötchen gibt. Die Friseurin, die heiße News für dich hat. Der Metzger, dem nichts wurscht ist.
Kein Internet!
Und wir sind immer da, wenn du uns brauchst.
Ich installiere den mal schnell.
Euronics, für dein bestes Zuhause der Welt. Oide, 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 oide.
All right. So there we had it. Jakeb Sullivan, the new star of the Berlin Thunder. Yeah, Silas, what do you think there? I mean, that's a pretty exciting thing for the Berlin franchise.
Yeah, man, that's huge. I think he's gonna do a great job over there. He has experience. He's got the leadership and the on-field skills. He'll do great over there. And I'm curious to hear more about what they kind of put in his offer to get him over there, because it's surprising that he wouldn't go to Stuttgart, because I feel like if he really wanted to win a championship, I feel like Stuttgart was the place to go. But they do got some of the league important people up in Berlin, so who knows what they do.
That's true, like Bjorn Werner and such. Yeah, but he does a great job. He's very quarterbackial. He does a great job at the podium, as they say, very professional on the mic. Obviously, it was maybe a little bit of a weird situation leaving Frankfurt. Don't really know exactly how it went down, but I'm impressed with how he handles himself, and curious for how this goes this year. So, Jakeb Sullivan, one of the biggest signings. Now we're moving to our signing center. We've got some other big signings, and let's start off with one that I'm really excited about. What do we got here? Louis Geyer back in Stuttgart. The young Stuttgart Surge superstar. He's 22 years old. He grew up in Stuttgart. Last year, he came back to Stuttgart to join Jordan Newman during his first year with this new Surge rebuild. Had a great season, went for over 1,000 yards, was one of the best receivers in the league. Super excited to see him back in Stuttgart. And he is not the only Stuttgart receiver that is back. There is also the Austrian sensation from Salzburg, Yannick Meyer. This guy flies through the air. He hurdles people all the time. Absolute superstar, absolute beast. Just adding to that receiver depth. He also went for over 1,000 yards last year with the Surge. And so to have these two back is pretty awesome for the Surge. But that's not all. There's one more. We've got Darrell Stewart Jr., who also went for 1,000 yards, came to the Surge kind of in the middle of the season and still went for over 1,000 yards. Darrell Stewart Jr. personally traumatized me in the 2021 German Bowl. He absolutely obliterated us. Wow. And so he's still out here in Europe just destroying everybody. Michigan State guy, great teammate, great guy to have around. I've been lucky enough to kind of be around the Surge a lot. And all three of those receivers, obviously great on the field, but great off the field as well. And so that's pretty exciting for the Surge, for these prolific 1,000-yard receivers, man. Besides, you played against these guys. You saw them. They're pretty good. Yeah,
pretty good. That's big right there. That's dangerous. Getting a good quarterback with those three receivers, having multiple homegrown receivers that play like Americans is deadly, man.
And the thing, like Louis Geyer, just sorry to linger on this. We'll move on a second. Louis Geyer. I mean, all these guys are great, but Geyer's 22 years old. It's so effortless for him. You know, watching him run routes, it just feels so natural, which you don't see all the time with homegrown European guys. And so he's just really, I'm very impressed with how he plays football. We've got a couple more signings in the Eastern Conference with the Panthers. We've got Jacob Sullivan, who's actually he scored the first ever touchdown in ELF history. That's kind of a cool thing to have.
That is a cool fact right there.
That's kind of cool, right? Like you have that forever. First ever in a new league. And then we've got Bonat also signing. Two Panthers legends returning. And I mean, this roster, we talked about them last week, Silas. Like, they're loading up.
I just don't know any of these Polish guys, man. I never played up that far east, never played in Poland, and so I just don't know any of them. But from what I'm going to be actually careful to watch them this year.
Yeah, I mean, Poland, I think is they have really good homegrown players. Obviously, Germany, I would say, probably has the best homegrown players. Poland, I don't know, man. They might be second best. I don't know, Poland or Austria, but yeah. So a lot of good homegrown options for the Panthers there.
They definitely have the most difficult names of all the.
Oh yeah, that's why I just went with the last
Europeans.
Name. Sorry,
Przemysław.
There we
Present
go.
Myeslaw, but not.
Yeah. But even, we see here in the chat, people saying Panthers are loading up. I think so too. But let's move on. We've got a pretty high profile signing, another wide receiver. Let's see what we got. The graphic coming up here. Jarvis McClam. He played for the Innsbruck Raiders for about half of the year last year, and then he left. Silas, you know him. You guys did a podcast together. Talk to me about this. He's going up to Hamburg.
Jarvis he's legit, man. That guy's just he's a playmaker. He will make plays. That's the key. And he's not like blazing fast, but he's like, I would choose him over someone who's just a lot faster because you can almost guarantee he's going to make the play. Yeah. I know that he's been pretty loyal to Christian Strong for years now, but I don't think Christian is going to be back in Europe this year. So it looks like Jarvis will be playing with a new quarterback. And so we'll see how that goes because he hasn't played with a different quarterback than Christian in years. That's a good point. Can you also, because I know you guys kind of went into depth, can you just give the people kind of the rundown of what happened last year, why he left the Raiders in the middle of the season? Basically, the Raiders cut Christian a few games before the playoffs, which I thought was a bad move because I don't think it was going to make a difference, and he was their best shot. But because Jarvis and him were so close, Jarvis said, "Hey, if you get rid of him, I'm going to go too," and that's what happened. Yeah, that was pretty dramatic right in the middle of the season there, and the Raiders kind of had to scramble in the middle of the season. They ended up having a disappointing season. I mean, then they cleared out their coaching staff a little bit, and are hoping for better year next year. All right, so let's move on to another running back who was the offensive rookie of the year. He played for Milano last year.
Oh, wow. Khalifa, yeah. And he's going to Berlin. He's going to join our friend Jacob Sullivan up there in the north. He's from Berlin, so he's headed back to his hometown. That's always kind of cool when guys go have a little success somewhere, kind of make a name for themselves, and then can play for their hometown team. I think that's so is he a German national? Yeah. And so he was an import for Milano last year. I mean, he went crazy, offensive rookie of the year. And so we'll see how he does up there in the That's big time. That's huge. Yeah, pretty good. We are going to check out now a guy for the reigning champs who is back. The Rhine Fire have bolstered up their offensive line. Sven Breidenbach. So Silas, I hosted the honors this year, and Jadrian obviously won Player of the Year MVP. And Jadrian said, like, "Hey, any of my O-line guys that are here, come on up." So he came up on the stage, and this dude is massive. I mean, absolutely massive. Like, I mean, we've played football, both you and I, for a long time, and we've seen big guys, but I was just, whoa, this dude is huge. And so obviously he was part of Ryan Fire's great offensive line last year. They loaded him back. And then that's not all that the Rhine Fire have gotten signed recently. 2 linebackers that you played against, Silas. First, we've got Flammer Simon. He's 24 years old. He had a great year last year, 67 tackles, 10 TFLs, and was one of the best linebackers there. And also Marius Kenzie, young 25-year-old, 82 tackles, 9 TFLs. I mean, Silas, you played against both these guys. You guys played against the Rhine Fire. Do you remember these guys? Do they stick out to you? Yeah. Yes, I do remember them. I do remember them, and I am very thankful for those guys because they always helped me up. So I'm sure 81 of those tackles was on me in that game. So you're welcome. You're welcome, Flame and Kenzie. Yeah, that's nice. I like when guys help each other up. I like when there's maybe like a little bit of, when you help up the running back. It's good sportsmanship. It's cool, man. The chat's calling Sven Breidenbach Ice Cream Truck. That's a great nickname. Yeah. There you go. Thanks, chat. That's great. Ice Cream Truck. So we got 2 great linebackers returning to the Rhine Fire, reigning champs. Another guy returning to his team in the Western Conference of the Frankfurt Galaxy, the cornerback Jamalcolm Liggins. This guy has been one of the best corners in the ELF. He had a great college career. He's been at Frankfurt. Last year, he had a single season record for the ELF for 17 pass breakups. Pretty legit right there. So Frankfurt doing a good job re-signing him.
Kosling has always done a good job of recruiting and keeping good DBs. I know Kosling's a defensive guy. He was the DC in Frankfurt University before he became head coach. And Frankfurt has always had a good defense. And so that makes sense.
I forgot. Yeah. I mean, you played for Coach Kosling, right?
Yeah, I did.
GFL did. Yeah.
Yeah. He was a DC when I was playing for him, and our defense was always so good.
Yeah, dude. I remember playing against those Frankfurt defenses. Just loaded up in the backfield. The DBs just like NFL talent across the board. And Jim Liggins there. He's a great example of that. Now a new team that's been getting a little bit of a buzz. The Madrid Bravos have signed one of the top rushers from the GFL, Dwayne Obi. He's going to be the first running back for the Madrid Bravos. Madrid's also been bolstering up their offensive line. Like, people seem to be kind of impressed with what Madrid is doing so far as a first-year team. Silas, you got any thoughts on this or on this dude and kind of what Madrid is doing?
Well, first up, is he American? I'm assuming
he's British. He's British.
Okay, he's British. So that's actually great. I was actually I was going to be surprised if they got an American running back, but I think what's going on in Spain is that Madrid is going to be taking a lot of the talent that Barcelona had. I think Madrid's a bigger city. I think it's kind of like, if I'm trying to think of a German comparison, but if a small like Ingolstadt or something had a team,
right,
and then Munich brought a team in, and then all the team and Munich would take all the people from Ingolstadt. That's what it kind of feels like, where you got Madrid coming in. It's a bigger city, more popular, more people, and they're going to step in and kind of take a lot of the talent that Barcelona might have had. And so I think they're gonna have a stronger year for sure than Barcelona did in the first couple of years, but I think it's going to take some time to build that up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what you just said, that brings us right into our next signing. One of the Barcelona Dragons' best players last year, Defensive Player of the Year nominee, Luke Glenna, the American safety, who was all over the field, led the league in tackles last year. He hopped over. He's going to be a Madrid Bravo. And it's just what you said. Madrid is signing a lot of this Spanish talent, or he's not Spanish, but people that played for Barcelona previously. Yeah, man. And this dude's really good. I got to, when I went down to Barcelona to watch the Surge game, I got to see him play in person. High energy guy, sideline to sideline. He was way bigger than I thought he would be too. Like a pretty good size safety. And it's just what you said, man. Madrid is poaching some guys, and it'll be interesting.
Speaking of Madrid, I think we got the head coach from Madrid coming on today, don't we?
You were not wrong. You were not wrong right there, Silas. So that brings us into the final point that we've got here from our producers. 7 Barcelona Dragons players are already signed with the Madrid Bravos. And
there you go.
Like you said, Silas, the Madrid Bravos, who is signing all of these players? It is their head coach, Rip Scherer, who is joining us live on the show. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. I know you don't do too many interviews. And so we appreciate you joining us live today.
Well, good morning or good afternoon from here, but no, it's a pleasure to be with y'all.
Yeah, it's great to have you here, and we're super excited. I mean, for those who don't know, you've had just a great long career coaching high-level football in college and in the NFL. Obviously, we see Justin Herbert's jersey behind you right there. I guess the first question is, Coach, why is this the right move for you to go coach in Europe, to go coach in Madrid this year?
Well, it's a number of things. It's exciting. It's an adventure, and it's a challenge. That all those things combined. Actually, a few years ago, a former player of mine at the University of Colorado who had played in Switzerland and coached in Switzerland asked me to coach in one of his camps. I was with the Chargers in 2018. But we happened to be in Europe at that time, so we coached a camp in Vienna, and it's my first exposure. I was blown away. There were 400 kids there, and 250 they turned away. but the enthusiasm and the coachability, I had just come from UCLA where I was year after year in camps with 5-star guys that didn't want to hear anything from you. They had all the answers. And then you get these young guys that were just so eager to learn. So that kind of got me interested. And then I had a conversation a year ago while I was again in Europe on a vacation with the ownership of a team in the ELF that will remain unnamed. Great people, but I just didn't feel like they had the same commitment I thought that was needed to move a team forward. And so then you guys may know Danny Mitchell. Danny coached for the Vienna Vikings. Well, I worked this past season at UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham, and Danny's an analyst there. And I know he does, maybe it's your show every week or something, or he does some podcast, but he asked me about it. And so he connected me with the ownership people with Jaime and Carlos, the athletic director at Madrid. And I just been blown away by their commitment, the level of their commitment, the foundation financially that they have built. Jaime Martin's the GM and part of the ownership group, and his family. We were in Madrid a week and a half ago for our combine, and I was just really impressed with the structure, the organization, the detail. I just think that they're doing everything to help us be competitive, and I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about the coaching staff I was able to bring, and then the players that we've been able to bring on board.
Absolutely, Coach. Yeah. I mean, it's and Danny Mitchell, he's kind of a legend out there in Europe, having a lot of success. I guess a question also that I have is, you've obviously coached a bunch in college and in the NFL, and you've recruited a bunch, but this is probably pretty new to be recruiting for a team that did not exist last year. I mean, you are part of the foundation of this team. Can you talk a little bit about the challenges of recruiting for a team that is brand new and kind of what you're facing during this task?
Well, it's a challenge, but I think, we're trying to build a solid foundation. And I think it's been interesting because I feel like I'm back in college recruiting again. And, but yet the openness of these players, the respect that they give you is over the top. They're very welcoming, very agreeable to talk. And, our message is, I know it was said earlier, one of you all said it's going to be hard to be competitive. I told Jaime and Carlos when we first talked, I flew over to Madrid during this football season. I was there for about 20 hours. But I told them right off the bat, my expectation is to win. We're not going to buy this whole thing about, well, it's going to take a few years. It's a new franchise. I'm not built that way, and none of our coaching staff is built that way. And we're looking for players who are not thinking that way either. If you're going to do this, you want to be the best you can be, and you want to win.
Coach, how aware are you of just the off the field mindset of football of Europeans versus Americans?
I'm learning from the guys we've signed more than anything. And then our offensive line coach is a guy by the name of Mac McCorder. He was at Paris last year. So he has helped me greatly. He and I coached together 43 years ago at Georgia Tech, and we coached together at Georgia Tech and then again at Alabama. And then he was on my staff at Memphis when I was a head coach, and we're best of friends. So to have him on the staff who, a guy that has been through the process of a first-year team, as a matter of fact, has been very helpful. But, I'm learning as I go. The thing I said, and I mentioned it at our combine when I was interviewed, there's a lot of good coaches in this league. And I'm more and more impressed the more that I watch tape as we're evaluating players that are expressing an interest in us, or we're interested in them, that played in the ELF last year. I'm really impressed with the quality of play, the quality of coaching, the execution. It kind of surprised me, to be honest with you. But I've known Norm Chow for years. Coach Herman coming in like me as a new head coach, highly respected. There's a lot of good people in this league, and not just the guys coming from the U.S. A lot of the coaches that are homegrown to their native countries, excellent football coaches, and you can tell by the product that's on the field. So we'll have our work cut out for us. And like I said, I'm just happy. Our present players have kind of helped educate me, and I'm going to rely on them as we go through the season to continually educate me about the whole concept of American football in Europe.
Yeah, that's great, Coach. One of the things that you touched on that I really like, and I know Silas and I have talked about this a bunch before with our experience in Europe, is the coachability of a lot of these guys out in Europe, and especially for some of these guys to have the opportunity to be coached by someone like you who has the experience and knowledge that you have, I think is a cool thing. What I want to ask is let's fast forward to the end of the season. The Madrid Bravos finished their first season ever with you as the head coach. What would that season have to look like for you to feel like, okay, that was a success? We were successful for our first ever season as an organization.
Well, I know as a coach, you should never paint yourself into a corner by making predictions or anything. But, be honest with you, my expectation, we're going to do everything we can to be in the playoff picture. That's to me, and again, I know that's a big challenge. That's not to, that message is not to diminish anything about the quality of players on other teams and coaches on other teams, because as I said earlier, they're excellent. But, we're going about this thing to win and to win it all. And I'd love to be in the battle and the hunt for it. I know we're in maybe the toughest division, that they, or conference that they put us in. So we have our work cut out for us. But, you play this game for one reason, and that's to win on the field. And if your mindset, I can't allow myself, when I was the head coach at Memphis, we'd play teams like Mississippi State and Tennessee and Miami and Michigan, but I never went into a game not expecting to win. And I think if you do that as a coach, and you're selling your players short. So we're going after this to be not just competitive, but to be successful and get in the playoff hunt.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, the chat right now, you mentioned it there. You're in a tough conference. People are calling it the Wild West right now in the chat. So you guys are going to have you've got some good opponents there, but obviously the Bravos are in good hands under your control there. The last question that we got here, a little off football. Why is your nickname Rip? Why do you go by Rip, Coach?
Well, my dad was a high school coach all his life, and I was a locker room rat. And his nickname was Rip from his dad, because he slept a lot after Rip Van Winkle. And so I'm a locker room rat, and I became Little Rip, and been that all my life. So I'm just bigger Rip now. But
you're gonna be that after your life too. R.I.P.
Yeah, exactly. I introduce, when people meet me, and sometimes they'll get confused and they'll say, "Hey, Rick," and I'll go, "No, it's Rip. R.I.P. Rest in peace. No time soon." So that's kind of my mantra. No, but I can't. I appreciate this opportunity. I can't tell you how excited. I mean, we have amazing ownership group. Jaime and then Carlos directing our personnel, and Jaime's family. I met all of them, and Jaime's wife, who is really the boss behind Victoria, is really the true GM of our team. Truth be known, but we're excited for this opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Coach, thank you so much for joining us here on the ELF live show. I mean, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on here. I think the league is super lucky and super excited to have people like you coming to coach these teams and to lead a new franchise into existence. So we wish you the best of luck for your first season in Madrid and in the ELF. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Anytime. Thank you.
All right, Coach. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Zu Hause ist immer jemand für dich da. Die Bäckerin, die dir leckere Brötchen gibt, die Friseurin, die heiße News für dich hat, der Metzger, dem nichts wurscht ist.
Kein Internet!
Und Wir sind immer da, wenn du uns brauchst.
Ich installiere den mal schnell.
Euronics, für dein bestes Zuhause der Welt. Oi.
And we're back. Dude, I wish we had more time with Rip.
I know.
And if I was in person, I would really I would probably push him a lot more on, hey, what exactly are you going to do? I get that you're like, I plan on winning, but it's like, how are you going to do that? Because again, man, the key to winning is how do you get the homegrown players to have the time, get their time, do the extra stuff, all these things. It's different than the US. You don't have 5 days a week, 6 days a week with your players. You don't have 4 hours a day with your players. Like, what are you going to do? What is your game plan, your strategy to get these guys to a top tier team without all that time? Those are the questions I'd like to ask, but we don't really have time.
I know, exactly. I mean, it's just like somebody in the chat has also said that. How is he going to have to adjust to dealing with part-time players? I mean, I think he has the right attitude in terms of like willing to learn about how football culture is in Europe. And he said he's got one of the OC came from Paris last year, who obviously had experience of being in a first-time franchise. And so, but yeah, that's the biggest thing, especially for guys who have such high level experience like NFL and Division 1A experience, where it's a different world, man, especially with the first year team. So,
and he better start Hablan Español.
Yeah, says the guy in Mexico right now. Okay, Hablan Español. All right, so that was Rip Scherer. That was cool though to talk to him.
Yeah, it was. Move on.
Let's move on, Silas. We're going to do another little sneak peek with you guys of the Beyond the Huddle documentary. We're going to watch a 4 or 5 minute clip of an episode of your guys' choice. So you guys see right here, there's going to be a poll put in the chat. You guys vote, and whichever episode here has the most votes, we will watch together. So check out the chat here. There's the link. Maxie just put it in. You vote for whichever episode. Silas, what's your vote, man?
I want to see Tim Haney, bro. I want to see my boy Tim.
Oh yeah, he's your teammate. So we're going to see here. We're going to give you guys a little bit of time to vote and see which episode we end on.
Can we get a documentary of me and you, Nick?
The Now of Silas documentary.
Just all clips of me juking you. Just like an entire documentary where we just react.
Nobody's got the time to watch all that.
No, Nalvin Salas react to.
That would have to be a mini series. There's a lot of content there. Oh, look at that. We're seeing a lot of votes for the championship game. Championship game was sweet, dude. I mean, that was one of the coolest weekends for me in recent memory going to that game. A fan's game is kind of, all right, well, we're going to let this play out a little bit. Which one do you want to see, Silas?
From a step ahead, I don't know what that means. So
okay.
I couldn't tell you. But I want to see more of the homegrowns, like, jobs outside of football, because I think that's really cool.
It's really cool. I mean, that snippet we watched last week with your former teammate Tim, that was really cool. Like, dude, when talking about his schedule, like his job, what is it, 8 to 5, and then working out, and sometimes practicing like 2 hours away from where you guys.
Yeah, dude. I mean, my backup running back, Mort Stein, that guy's a surgeon, bro. A surgeon.
Oh.
He amputated someone's leg before practice.
That's crazy. And then he comes and does football practice. Dude, it's so
that guy's
impressive.
A legend.
Man.
Shout out Mo.
So impressive.
Shout out Mo. That guy's awesome. I want every story for these players told. That would be sick.
Yes.
One day, whenever the ELF becomes NFL, has NFL money, then you and I can direct all these shows.
Exactly. Hey, let's put some money in that. Science. We'll make a big series. All right. I think we're going to call it here in about 10 seconds. It looks like the championship game.
A look behind the curtain is almost there.
I know. I kind of want to see a look behind the curtain. There we go. Silas, vote for it. Give me one more look behind the curtain. I want to see
look behind the curtain. I want to see what's behind it.
If it goes, it's tied still. I need one more for a look behind the go. Yep, we got it. Let's go. Look behind the curtain. We're calling it.
It's tied, bro.
No, I saw it for a second. It went ahead. Look, there it is. Let's do episode 3, a sneak peek of a look behind the curtain of this lovely league that we all love, the European League of Football. Let's watch it together. Yeah, see somebody in the chat.
Wir sind alle hands-on. Also ob es nun alle Game Observer, Dominique als Head of Operation oder Frank als Head of League Operation, den sehe ich irgendwo Kabel ziehen, Kabel schleppen. So, auch ich war zum Season Opener in Paris, dann steht eine Kamera verkehrt, die eine steht auf der 20, die andere an der Goal-Line, da rennst du auch hoch und versuche ich mit meinem Ghetto-Französisch klarzumachen, dass die Kamera da natürlich stehen darf. Komm, wir ziehen noch mal ein paar Kabel. Oh nein, das Kabel für das Instant Replay Tool ist zu kurz. Oh mein Gott, wo machen wir das? Komm, wir ziehen noch mal da ein Kabel. Das Instant Replay Tool muss dahin. Oder ich renne auch mal aus der Loge, spreche mit irgendeinem Partner und sehe, dass ein Spieler irgendwie angeschlagen aussieht, aber der Head Injury Spotter sieht's nicht. Dann renne ich runter in die Teamzone und sage, bitte die 28 einmal bitte abchecken. Ich glaube, der könnte eine Gehirnerschütterung haben. Also das ist hier mehr als nur ein Job oder mehr als nur eine Liga. Das ist, und ich glaube, ich spreche da nicht nur für mich, das ist für viele, die hier dabei sind, Lebenswerk.
Ja, mein Name ist Frank Wendorf und ich bin bei uns Head of Operation für die European League of Football.
Dominika Gobli, Head of Football Operations für die European League of Football.
Mein Name ist Markus Pieper und ich kümmere mich um die Finanzen bei der Elf.
Mein Name ist Patrick Gesume, ich bin der Commissioner der European League of Football und Gründer.
Okay, mein Name ist Marcel Mohaupt, ich bin der Chief Commercial Officer bei der European League of Football.
Ich bin Chris Hahn, ich bin der PR-Manager der European League of Football.
Ja, hallo, mein Name ist Andreas Nommensen oder auch einfach Nommi genannt. Ich bin der Director of Sports in der European League of Football, bedeutet für den sportlichen Ablauf und die sportliche Garantie zuständig.
Data und Betting irgendwie zu visualisieren, dann kann das halt auch mal so aussehen. Dann hast du halt plötzlich eine Partnerintegration in dem Live-Signal. Und da hältst du die Leute mit irgendwie neuen Animationen. Das kann halt richtig geil sein. From the front to the back, ey, give me.
Beyond the huddle.
Right. Beyond the huddle, Silas. Beyond the huddle, man. That's a little sneak peek of episode 3 of the documentary series. Like we've mentioned, you guys can watch all of the episodes on the ELF Game Pass. It's €100 for the access to the Game Pass, which gets you access to all ELF streams. You can watch multiple games at a time. I think up to 3 or 4 games at a time. It's cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then there's also exclusive content like this Beyond the Huddle.
I would be curious to see like how they came up with the idea. Like, I mean, and I think that's in the main documentary, but like specifically, how are they navigating all of the financial issues that I know leagues bring? Because that's the question that like everybody has across the board who's not really involved with the league. They're like, how is this sustainable? So I'd be curious to see how that works.
Yeah, financial aspect is very interesting, and maybe they get into some of this stuff. And if you want, you can also, coming soon, if you don't want to pay the whole €100 for the Game Pass right now, you can watch the episodes on a pay-per-view basis. It'll be $2.99 an episode, or $14.99 for all of the episodes if you buy it in a bundle. So that's coming soon, so that you guys, more people can watch the Beyond the Huddle documentary. But Silas, I think it's time we move into the community corner. So this week on social media, we reached out and asked some of you guys to submit questions and topics that you would like us to talk about. So Silas and I are going to talk about some of these questions, answer these questions. You guys feel free to put your answers in the chat. We'll be checking those as well. And Silas, let's see what's the first one that we got in community corner. Ooh. Who's your sleeper pick for this upcoming ELF season?
What does sleeper mean again?
I think it's like a team that's kind of being overlooked, a team that people don't necessarily expect to be good, and that they're actually going to overachieve. That's my interpretation.
Munich Ravens.
Munich Ravens. Okay. A team that that'll be in their second year. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I think they're going to be good. The only thing is I feel like that they're getting some hype. So that's why I wouldn't put them as my sleeper.
Okay.
Somebody said the Helvetic Guards. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they are a sleeper. They are a sleeper.
That's your team, bro. That's your team.
That's my team, bro. And I love the Guards, man. Forever a Guard.
Forever a Guard. There you go.
I will be honest with you. I don't believe the Helvetic Guards are going to win the championship this year. No.
Okay. That's all right. That's not a crazy prediction. That's fine. Yeah, it's tough on the sleeper pick because I feel like for example, I think Munich's going to be kind of good. But I also think that people think they're going to be good. I'm gonna, just because I'm kind of impressed with how Coach Rip was in our interview, I'm going to say the Madrid Bravos. I feel like they might be better than people expect for a first-year team. What do you think?
Right, you're just trying to make friends, bro. You're just trying to make friends.
I like having friends.
No way they win it. No.
We'll see. It's a sleeper pick, bro. It just means like they perform better than you expect. If the
I thought you meant they win
low.
it. I thought you meant they win. Okay.
Right. No, I mean that's not what so that's okay. I like your Munich Ravens pick then in that sense.
That's
you're
what I'm
saying. You think they'll win it all.
All right, we should keep going now. I want another question.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
Okay. The last thing is the Centurions. Somebody said Centurions. That's also kind of good. I think they're going to be better than last year. Okay, next question from the community center. What do you guys think about the future of the running back position? Silas, you are one of these people, a running back. Talk to me.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think that I was one of the last running backs that will be taken in Europe. I think it's going to become just quarterback receiver offensively, or like quarterback big tight end who can really catch. If it's going to be a running back, it's got to be someone who can run routes and catch well, because the running back position is a position that can be learned fairly quickly, even if you don't have a lot of experience. So you can get a lot of good European running backs who grew up in Europe, who didn't get any experience in the US, and they do excellent. Like my boy from Munich, Tommy. I think it's Tommy. I'm forgetting his name.
Irish dude, Tommy Oilo,
whatever his last name is. Like he runs like you can tell he runs like he didn't play in America, but he still gets the job done. Like he holds the football like it's like a pillow, sometimes. But he still had like way more rushing yards than I did last year, and so I think it's gone. I think
I mean, we've seen kind of what's happened in the NFL with running backs is like they're kind of a dime a dozen. You're not seeing running backs be drafted really high up anymore, or people are surprised when that happens. And we're kind of seeing that in the ELF. I don't think for the most part it's worth it to use an A spots at running back. There's a lot of homegrown and European guys that can perform at that level or close to it. And it's much more important to have a quarterback receiver combo on offense. And so it's almost like, the running back position is kind of, I don't want to say being devalued, but kind of. I mean, it's easier to have a good European running back than it is to have a standout European quarterback, obviously.
Yep. Next question.
Next question.
If the ELF was to expand again 2025, which cities do you consider most realistic, likely, and which do you want? London, number one. What's the capital of Sweden? Stockholm.
Yep. That's
London and Stockholm.
I was talking to our producer Maxie before the show, and that was my exact answer too, Silas. Obviously, London, the UK's got a ton of talent. It would be so cool to have a London team. I think that they could be really good. I think, yeah, go ahead.
Here's the question: If
Yeah.
London got a team, would someone from Ireland be able to be a homegrown player?
Oh, interesting. You know, the borders and boundaries kind of are messy and blurry over there, especially when you've got like Northern Ireland. That's a UK passport.
And then everyone's going to be pissed about Brexit when you can't.
Yeah, there you go.
They're gonna be like,
this is the real problem with Brexit.
This is now once the ELF starts and you can't join as the homegrown for London, then Brexit is different.
Right. Right. Yeah. People are saying in the chat, Amsterdam as well. Amsterdam Admirals also could be. I just don't know about the Dutch talent necessarily, homegrown talent, but I think Americans and imports would love to play in Amsterdam. And I think this would be a crazy idea is if there was a Stockholm team, perhaps just make it kind of a Nordic team. And if you're from Finland, Norway, or Sweden, you can play for the Stockholm team.
Yeah.
It's kind of a Nordic team.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Our producer Maxi has thrown in his idea. This is not coming from me and Silas. This is from our producer. He says a Mallorca team. Typical Germans trying to highlight Mallorca. They love it. And dude, Germans would be able to play on that.
It's a team from Mallorca, but it's only made up of Germans.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's all the Germans who don't really care that much.
Exactly. So they're just out there to have a good time. So Mallorca team's going to suck, Maxi. Yeah, Chad is saying, Amsterdam. London could be a problem after Brexit. Yeah, that's what we were saying. It's interesting. It's fun to think about this stuff. I mean, I think there's a few more spots that a lot of us would love to see teams, but it would be awesome, man. It would be really cool. Silas, would you go play? Would you come out of retirement to play in a different city? There's a special city for you?
Hey, man, I'd love to see a team from Mexico at some point. That's actually why I'm down here. I'm recruiting the Mexicans. Cancun, bro. Cancun.
The Mexican ELF team. There we go.
The Cancun Pirates.
Beautiful. That's coming soon. Silas is the owner. All right. Our next question here is, what do you think about the idea to assign more A or E spots to teams that finished in the bottom of the prior season? Interesting. Silas, give me your brain thoughts.
Oh, this is tough, but maybe I would say I think maybe for a couple years we could try this out until things get a little bit more balanced.
Right.
Because there is a huge gap right now, and it makes certain games not very interesting. Right. But if you were to do that, that would be pretty awesome. Like, for example, if when the guards play the Rhine Fire, they get an extra 2 Americans on either side. Dang, right. Bro.
I mean, that all of a sudden gets really, really interesting, doesn't it?
That gets so interesting. And then, that changes everything.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say that I think that would actually be cool. But then it's like, all right, now that you've gotten a little boost to get yourself going, now go back to normal.
That someone in the chat says the MVP of the league has to change to the worst team the following year. So put Jadrian Clark on who was the worst team, the Enthroners or the Lions.
One of the two. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it would be really an interesting thing to kind of have this rotate. I don't know if you have maybe the worst team who finished last in each division, then gets an extra A or an extra 2 E spots or something just for that year to kind of help them elevate. Or maybe if you're a brand new franchise, you get something. It'd be kind of hard logistically to do, but I do think it would make things very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, let's see. What are people saying in the chat here? Will hurry up ever be a thing in the ELF? I love the momentum and those mysterious signs on the sidelines.
That's what we ran in Italy with Coach Briles. If Coach Briles took over as head coach of a team in the ELF, I might come out of retirement and play for him again.
Yeah, you like that offense? You like playing for him?
We ran hurry up offense in Italy, and it was the best. Well, I ran it at Baylor too. And honestly, it's the most effective offense I've ever seen in Europe.
Well, we did, Silas. We had to play against it in the German Bowl, the Potsdam Royals. They ran a hurry-up offense in the 2022 German Bowl, and it was very difficult. I think if you can do it right in Europe, it can be kind of killer. But that's what we got right now for the community corner. Some fun questions from you guys. Appreciate you guys submitting these and getting us some good topics. We've got one more interview, one more guest joining the show with us. It is the new quarterback of the Hamburg Sea Devils, Javarian Smith.
What up, Javarian?
What's up, guys? What's up?
Hey, man. Thanks for coming on the show, man. Where are you right now?
I'm in Pontiac, Michigan, 20 minutes north of Detroit.
Okay, Pontiac, Michigan. That's where you're from, right?
Yeah.
Part of me wishes that you signed for Munich, and then your nickname could be Javarian the Bavarian.
Ooh.
Like, that would go hard.
That's good branding right there, Silas.
But you wait, you were in Allgäu last year, right?
Yeah.
Did anybody say that? Isn't Allgäu Bavaria?
It is Bavaria.
Not one person. Not
You just started it, Silas. There you go.
They ruined it. They wasted it.
Yeah. First question, man. Why? Why Hamburg Sea Devils? You had a great season down in Bavaria and Allgäu last year. Why was it right for you to go to the Hamburg Sea Devils this year?
For me, honestly, it was about the relationship I had with Coach Johnson. Kind of after my season, I didn't really know how to navigate through the ELF stuff, the teams that would reach out, what was really going on. And it was kind of like when Coach Johnson got the job, he had texted me. I had reached out to him previously. He texted me. He said, "You got some stuff to do. We'll be in touch." And kind of navigating this whole process, I felt most comfortable with Coach Johnson. I met with some guys on the staff at Hamburg. Met with some kind of front office type of guys, and it felt like the right thing to do. So, yeah, I'm excited about the opportunity.
Yeah,
How many years have you played in Europe, Javarian?
I played in Europe 2 years. First year with PvP in Prague in the Austrian Football League. I think were you on the Danube team that won it all that year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you played in that third place game?
Yeah, the game before your game.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you. You had the crosses? Did you have the crosses?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang, that's crazy.
European football is a small world, man. It's a really small world. It's cool. You always run into that where you played or saw each other, played against each other. Man, what would you say? How would you describe your game? What are your strengths as a player that you're going to bring to Hamburg?
I think you turn on the tape, you see that I'm an athletic guy. I can also, I feel I can make every throw. I can get it done from the pocket. I think kind of what you guys were talking about earlier, you win with homegrown guys, and if you can have a guy there that can cultivate that talent and kind of, football is the ultimate team sport to me. So if you can really get guys to buy in through, their jobs, their family situations, and able to really play for you and get behind a guy, I think you can maximize opportunities. So I think that is my superpower.
I like that. That's big right there. That's a quarterback who's a young European, entering his third season, already understands the importance of getting that European buy-in. Javarian, what do you think about the north of Germany? Are you ready to move up there?
So I've never been to the north. The farthest north I've been is who we play? Braunschweig, maybe. I don't know. I'm excited. I've heard amazing things about northern Germany from literally everyone I've talked to. Bayern, München will always have a special place in my heart. But I'm excited for the opportunity, man. I've heard it's really different in the best type of ways. So
make sure you eat a lot of fish brötchen. It's really good.
Okay.
Fish brötchen. That's Hamburg's a cool city, man. I'm excited for you. Hamburg really is a cool city.
Can I mention one thing, Nick?
Yeah.
This is good for Jaron to know too. Did you know the people of Hamburg, they're called hamburgers?
No, I did not know.
I'm dead serious. And then it gets better. It gets better. So like the mayor of a German city is called a Bürgermeister. Check this out. But there's like a dude who's like higher than the mayor in Germany, and his name is the Burgermeister. So in Hamburg, that dude's position is the Hamburger Oberburger Burgermeister.
You got that?
Did everybody get that?
That's what you got to know going up to Hamburg, man.
So if you win the ELF, you might meet that guy.
There you go.
Which is ultimately my dream.
There you go. That's a good goal to have. Hey, have you linked up and talked at all with Jarvis, your new wide receiver?
Oh yeah. I before everything was official, before everything, I had reached out. Me and Jarvis spoke. I was a big fan from last season, what he was doing in Innsbruck. We all know about him leaving the situation, but I was a big fan of his. Going throughout my season last year, we've spoken, we've came together, and we're excited about this opportunity.
Yeah, man, I think you guys will be a great duo up there. I mean, I am interested to see, Silas, you were talking about it earlier. I mean, Jarvis has played with Christian Strong quite a bit. That's kind of been his quarterback. So now you're having the opportunity to, build a relationship with him and the quarterback receiver combo there. So really curious to see how that goes.
Did you call Christian and say, hey, is it all right if I am linking up with your boy?
That's a funny story, actually. Going through last season, I was kind of not following them, but it was big news in the ELF. All the GFL guys kind of, keep in touch with, trying to look what's going on. I had talked to Christian briefly just after he had, left the team and stuff like that. And we briefly talked and had a good conversation. Cool dude. And it's just kind of crazy, everything coming full circle with Jarvis coming here. And, Christian doing good things and doing whatever he's doing. So,
yeah, man. Can you talk lastly just a little bit about the Hamburg Sea Devils roster? We mentioned Jarvis, of course. Any other guys you're excited to be playing with starting in 2024?
Honestly, I'm excited to. I know we had. I haven't talked explicitly. I met the team. You have the WhatsApp group chats, but we had a team event, and I kind of met everyone that was there, kind of the homegrown guys in Hamburg via FaceTime, which was cool. It was fun, and then. I've reached out to a lot of the guys, the safety we assigned from Rain, the guys we had re-signed and stuff like that. But I'm really excited to, get there and start working with them more so than anyone specifically. So,
all right, man. Javarian, appreciate you coming on the show with us, man. It's exciting. You're taking this step up to Hamburg to lead the Sea Devils. I think people are really curious. That's a franchise with a lot of fans, obviously. Had some games with 30,000 people, so probably going to have another one this year. So we're excited for you, man, and we appreciate you coming on the show and joining us.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man. All the best.
All the best. What do you think, Silas? What do you think about Hamburg and Javarian?
I think is it Javarian or Javarian?
I don't know. I would say Javarian.
Either one of them. Javarian is. I think he's going to do great. He had that right. He has the right mindset, so he'll do great. And then having Jarvis. If they have a good OC that knows how to use his mobility and Jarvis's Jarvis's mobility, they can have a pretty killer offense. That'd be cool.
Right. Absolutely. Well, guys, that's kind of we're going to be wrapping up this episode. It's a pretty good episode. We didn't have too many technical difficulties, Silas. Look at that. We improved.
Nah, I almost choked to death just 20 seconds ago, but
that was probably the worst part. You're okay now?
Other than that, yeah, I'm good. I'm about to go hit the pool here in a second.
Are you enjoying the vacation?
Go recruit some Mexicans to the ELF.
There you go. Good. Get that to the European League of Football. Yeah. Next week, we have a special show. It's going to be just me and Silas, no guests. You guys in the chat, you guys are going to be the guests, and we're going to do a year recap, talking about all things ELF, the good, the bad, the ugly. We'll talk about Leipzig. We'll talk about some of these situations that had a lot of drama that everybody wants to talk about. So we love to see you guys there and getting in the chat. It's just going to be me and Silas, big therapy session, and
nice.
for the ELF season. Let's see if we have any final questions here. There we go. Quality was top notch today. Thank you, Silas. Look at improvement.
Wow. Congratulations. Maybe you should always have a lower third that just gives you the buyout. It's hopefully
just
Nick's internet's better.
Exactly. There we go. All right, guys. So that's going to be all for ELF Live, our third ever episode. We're having a lot of fun doing this. Silas, enjoy vacation, man. Enjoy Mexico.
Thank you. I will. And I'm going to
everybody
practice.
Have a great Christmas as well. And we will see you at this time next Thursday. Bring your questions and your conversations to the chat. We will see you there. Thank you, everybody.
Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad. How do you say Merry Christmas in German?
Frohe Weihnachten.
There you go. I don't know Polish. Nobody knows Polish. Peace.
Bye, guys.